All right, if you want to learn how the skill of urgency can help you in survival scenarios, then you're absolutely in the right place. In case you don't know me, my name is Davin Sudvik with The Catch Today. We normally talk about the outdoors on this channel. However, I was stuck in the woods for a few extra days, and I wanted to use that experience to help people learn some survival skills that'll help them become more prepared. So, without any further ado, let's be urgent and get right into the content. So, the order of urgency goes like this. Starts with 3 minutes without air. That means major injuries or things that could prevent you from breathing, like drowning or maybe hemorrhaging a lot of blood from a big wound, is in that 3 minute mark of urgency. Now, these usually will not instantly kill you. However, without acting promptly and correctly, this is going to be fatal almost immediately. The next thing is going to be shelter. You can go about 3 hours without shelter in harsh weather conditions. A lot of people forget this one, so I actually do believe this one is probably the most important. We live our everyday lives trying to prevent 3 minute emergencies, but we can absolutely create 3 hour emergencies if we set our priorities in the wrong order. And if we're too hasty and we get into a situation where we're now desperate for shelter, we could end up incurring an injury that we didn't need to incur if we just had our priorities correct. So 3 hours without shelter in harsh weather conditions can kill you. This is usually from the cold, but it can happen in extreme heat too. All right, the next one is going to be 3 days without water. Now, the more time we get on these urgency tasks, obviously the more flexibility it's going to take, right? So 3 days in perfect conditions without water. But if you're in a really, really dry heat or you're in extremely low temperatures, these can also affect your moisture. That's why having a good shelter is important, because with a good shelter, you create more favorable environments, which allows you to hold on to water even longer than you normally would without it. So 3 days without water in general. So finding a good water source, if you're ever stuck in the outdoors or in an area where you don't have access to clean food or water, is going to be the next priority right after shelter. Lastly, we get into food. Now, food really means escape. If you can't escape the situation before you starve, then you have a huge problem. So you do need to think about the end in mind. If you are setting up your shelter in a place where you can't escape from, that is going to be much worse than taking an extra few hours in order to find a place where you can set up an adequate shelter, or maybe gather enough resources to move your shelter to a better area. I can't tell you how many people talked to me about my survival situation and told me how, oh, you had an entire elk in your cooler, like you would have been fine. Well, just because you had a lot of food doesn't mean you can't starve to death. You can starve from malnutrition or a variety of other reasons. And so you do need to plan your escape before you can possibly, worry about trying to find food. So in general, you're going to be trying to escape before that 2 or 3 week mark. However, if you do need to find food, you do need to think in your head, okay, every single calorie that I find, it has to extend my time out here. Because if I'm just trying to eat just to satisfy my hunger, I might not be getting the correct nutrition, and therefore I might actually be lowering the amount of time that I have to escape. Hopefully that makes some sense. So this was a quicker survival skill. A lot of these ones are going to be a little bit more conceptual. However, we do want to have some more hands-on experiences in the future. So make sure you comment down below. What are some ideas that you have for some of our other survival topics we're going to be going over? That way we can help best make videos for you. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a great day.